And keeping that energy alive, let's dive right into the numbers here on the direct hire side of the business. This is one of the service lines in the staffing business model. You get paid one time. We're going to go through a number of niche markets so that you can see what the different job titles and the different industries will yield you in your return on your investment. All right. So we're going to start off with looking at the warehouse niche industry, and we're going to look at one person. Do you know one person? Do you know one person, one warehouse worker? That worker would make somewhere between $34,000 and $41,000 a year. You would charge 20%. That would be the direct hire fee for you to go out and find that one person, screen them, assess them, get them ready to be hired. And then you would make between $6,000 and $8,000 for that person, for putting that one person to work in a warehouse. Look at the level of impact you're going to create in your community.
Oh, yeah.
I know that gets you fired up. I got one question for you. Do you know one warehouse worker? But let me ask, do you know 10 people? Do you know 10 warehouse workers? Because if you do, and they're making between 34 and 41 a year, and you're charging your 20% fee, you're now making 69,000 to 82,000. Could you place 10 warehouse workers in a month? That's what you would make in a month. How would that feel to you? How would that change your life? Do you know 10 warehouse workers? Do you know 50 people? Do you know 50 warehouse workers? Do you know 50 warehouse workers that you could place in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or even 6 months to generate $354,000 to $410,000? So quick question. Do you have a network of warehouse workers? Can you build a network of warehouse workers? Your candidates are your capital. This business works based on your network. Now let's take a look at the information technology industry. You're looking for one person. This person is an AI UX designer. They're going to make somewhere between $60,000 and $120,000 a year. You're going to charge the company 20% of that salary. Why? Because you're going to find them. You're going to assess them. You're going to talk them into the job that you're trying to put them into. You're going to retain them and to make sure that they stay in the company that they're in and that they're happy. You're going to make sure it's a match. It's a lot of work. Companies don't understand it, but it's a lot of work for us on the back end. Okay. And so we have to do that. But listen, if you already have the person, that's why I'm asking, do you know one person, one AI UX designer? If you know one AI UX designer, you charge the employer 20% to find that person. Your check is $12,000 to $24,000. Do you know one AI UX designer? Do you know 10 people, 10 AI UX designers, right? With a 20% fee. You now make $120 to $240K. Can you place 10 UX designers in the next 30, 60, 90 days? Because that's what you would make. Do you know 10 AI UX designers? Or how about 50? Do you know 50 AI UX designers? If you do, and you charge a fee of 20%, now you're looking at 600 to 1.2 million. Can you place 50 AI UX designers in a year? Just 50. Do you think you could place 50 in a year? I don't know. 50. Let's see. 50 divided by 12. That would be 4 per month. Okay? So 50 divided by 12 would be 4 per month. Roughly, do you think you could put 4 people to work per month? 4 AI designers. I don't know. Maybe you can. Do you know 50 AI UX designers? The question is, if you don't know 50 AI UX designers, could you find them? Could you find them, build relationships with them, and put them to work? Now, let's take a look at the healthcare industry. Woo! Now, do you have a network of nurses? Can you build a network of nurses? Your candidates are your capital in this industry. If you have a network of nurses or you have access to a network of nurses, this business model is perfect for you. Because one registered nurse between $58,000 and $133,000 a year with your 20% fee. I know you're saying nurses don't want to work direct hire. That's not true, because a lot of these facilities out here have nurses who have full-time jobs. There are nurses who have to stay home with their kids. There are nurses that have to stay home with their husbands. There are nurses that have to stay home because of their health. There are nurses that want to stay home because for benefits purposes. There are a lot of reasons why nurses stay home, and they want and need full-time jobs. And you would make $11,000 to $26,000 for every nurse that you put into a full-time role. Do you know one registered nurse you could put to work today? That's my question. You know 10 registered nurses that are making between $50,000 to $133,000 a year, where you charge the employer 20% and you make $116,000 to $266,000. Could you do that in a month? Could you put 10 people to work in 1 month? Could you put 10 people to work in 2 months? Could you put 10 people to work in 3 months? If you did it in 3 months, $266,000. 10 people divided by 3 would be roughly 3 people a month, 3 to 4 people a month. Could you put 3 to 4 nurses in a full-time job per month? Do you know 10 registered nurses? What about 50? Do you know 50 registered nurses? Huh? I don't know, but if you charged a fee for all these registered nurses and you put them to work, you would make between $580,000 and $1.33 million. Could you do that in a year? Could you put 50 registered nurses to work in a year? That would be roughly 4 to 5 nurses in full-time positions per year. You could do that. I don't know. Do you know 50 registered nurses? I mean, I'm asking a question like, can you build a network of nurses? Do you know a network of nurses? Your candidates are your capital. If you have a network or can build a network of nurses, then that's your money shot. Now, I want to continue to stay in the healthcare industry. Let's look at medical directors. I had this amazing staffingpreneur, Tiana Merity. She was phenomenal. And she placed a ton of medical directors. She made a killing too. And so medical directors make between $198, $353. You charge a 20% fee. I would charge a 30% if I were you. But for this example, you would make between $39,000 and $70,000. Just one medical director today. Do you know one medical director? What about 10? Would you happen to know 10 medical directors, right? Charging your 20% fee. Now you're talking $396,000 to $707,000. That's placing 3 or 4 a month if you do that in a couple of, months. Can you place 10 medical? Do you know 10 medical directors? What about 50? What about 50 medical directors? And you charge your fee over the course of the year, right? 50 medical directors, you put them to work. You make $1.9 to $3.5 million, placing nothing but medical directors all over the country, maybe even all over the world. I am a medical director niche staffing business, generating $1.9 to $3.5 million a year, placing one of the most important roles in the world. My question to you today is, do you know 50 medical directors? So if you're looking to start and scale the #1 recession-proof business in the world, if you have a network or feel you can build a network, if you have the time to invest, if you have the funds to invest, the credit to use, or know where to get the dollars, starting and scaling a staffing business is one of the best investments you can make now and for your future. Here are your next steps. Visit staffingpreneursacademy.com. Call us at 866-432-8801. You feel free to use the QR code. We would love to talk to you. Book an appointment. We want to talk to you about your vision and your goals and your dreams and where you see yourself in the next year, in the next 5 years in staffing.